Hey everybody, this is the tutorial for making the paper beads. What you're going to find in your packet are a container of glue. This is basically Elmer's glue, it just happens to be clear. Modge Podge, which is the white, another form of glue, but it dries shiny, so it makes your beads look really shiny. A little stir stick, which you're going to use to apply the glue. A skewer that's got a slit at the top of it. You can see where it's split. That's intentional. That's a trick for helping you roll the beads. A skinny skewer, which I'll show you the purpose for in a minute, and some paper, which is you use to roll your beads with. Some cord, a little bit of cord, and a key. Oops. A little bit of cord and a key ring. So that's one of the things you can use your beads for. So what you're going to need is a paintbrush. I would have a wipe or a wet paper, damp paper towel or something like that, because you're going to get a lot of glue on your fingers, and this helps you feel less sticky. And 2 cups that are the same height. And the reason for this is you can use this as a way of drying your beads. So you can just lay the skinny skewer down and suspend your beads that way. And I'll show you another trick in a minute when we're done rolling our bead. So what you're first going to do is open up your glue, and then choose your paper, the paper you want. There are a bunch of different types of paper in here. Some of them are one-sided so that the color is only on one side. But there are a couple here that are double-sided. So you want to decide which side you want to use. See? And just for tips, on some of the ones that have patterns, you're going to see what the color of the bead is going to be is the sort of the majority color that you see on the paper. So for example, I've already made a bead using this paper and using this side of the paper, and this is what it comes out at. This is sort of like a grayish color. The other side, this side, comes out looking like this. For this, which is really kind of cool with these little flat arrows on it, it comes out looking mostly white. So just keep that in mind when you are rolling your paper. I'm going to choose this double-sided one, but I'm going to choose this side. I want to see what that'll look like. So you take your paper and you grab the skewer. And now you see how I'm going to put this like this. If I put this in right here like this and I roll it, I'm going to have to roll it towards me in order to get the side that I want, which is that side, to show up. If I roll it away from me this way, I'll get that side. But what I really want to make sure I do is keep the end as straight as possible against the skewer. You see how there's only a tiny little bit showing there? Because if I start it up cockeyed like that, it won't roll properly. I'll have a really strange looking bead. And part of the reason these beads are so strong is because you're rolling them on top of each other. So the center of the bead becomes really thick and sturdy. Now, before I start putting glue on, I want to roll this around so that the paper is meeting the paper. And the reason for this is that the glue doesn't stick onto the skewer, because that will make it impossible to get the bead off. So I'm going to start rolling it, and you have to be very careful at the beginning, because this slit starts to open up a little bit until you get it going. So you see, I'm going to bring it all the way around. Whoops. And now the paper is meeting the paper. So the minute the paper starts hitting itself, that's when I'm going to take my little spreader thing and put some glue on it. And you don't have to be too careful with this, because the glue will sort of spread sideways and forward as you move. And the more you also don't want to put all the glue all the way down the paper initially. I tried doing that the first time I did it, and I wound up sticking to everything, which was really frustrating. So I'm going to start rolling it, and you can stop holding on to the split part, holding the split together pretty quickly. But I don't know if you can see, but you see how the glue is sort of pushing ahead of the paper. And you can sort of see this little bubble of glue going as you're turning it. So as you go, the minute you stop seeing that bubble of glue, you add some more. And if you're not sure, just add some more anyway. Again, if you put on a bunch of glue, you get a little extra glue, it'll leak out the sides, and that's fine because that adds to the strength of the bead. So you keep going, you keep rolling, and you can get to the point where you can just guide it with one hand and turn it with the other. And if you let go and it undoes, no big deal. Just get the tension back. Add some more glue. And then you just keep rolling, and try to keep it as centered as you can. Not going to be perfect, that's okay. But you see how you're getting sort of a stepped edge on it? And this isn't perfectly straight. You can see this side is a little bit shallower than this side, but that's okay. It'll still look cool when you're done with it. So now I add some more glue. And I'm getting glue all over myself, so I'm really glad I got the wipe to clean off my fingers. But I don't want to do it as I'm rolling the bead, because even if you get the glue on the outside of the paper, that's okay. It helps it stick down. Oh, I just really globbed it. Whoops. That's okay. Because the glue becomes a way of getting the end to stick. And you'll see what I mean in a second, because I'm almost done. Put a little bit more glue on the edge there. What happens is, for some strange reason, no matter how much glue you put on, that little end sometimes comes up, but I have enough on there. And you can just roll it around and get the, take the rest of the glue off of your fingers, or some of it off. And you see you've got a really cool bead there. So I'm going to wipe my fingers off a little bit. And now I'm going to pull it off. So you just grab it like this and you pull. It'll come right off. And you'll see, you can see the little strip of paper that was in the slit. So you'll take your skinny skewer and you can just poke it in there and push it down. You want to do that because then when you're stringing it on something, it won't get in the way. And then I'll take my cups, and I can do one of two things with the cups. I can either just put the bead on the skinny skewer and rest it between the cups. Ooh, oops. If you've got glass cups or anything like that you're using. But if you're using paper cups like I've got, I just poked some holes in it about the same height, and then I can just stick them on like this and let them dry, and that way that's not going to roll off the top of the cups. And then when I want to do another one, when I've done another bead, I just pop this off, slide the bead on, and do this. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to put the Mod Podge on the bead, and that'll give it a nice shiny finish, and also, just give it a little bit more strength. But what I would do beforehand is either make sure you're on a piece of paper or something that if you spill the Mod Podge, it won't be a problem. So a piece of wax paper, a piece of paper towel, anything underneath this. But you don't need to be super careful with it, because it'll dry pretty evenly. But what's nice is that it's white, so you can see where you've gotten. And you just want to cover your bead like this. Keep turning it around. And there you got it. You can do a couple of layers after it's dried. You can see when it's dried because obviously it won't be white anymore. I'm going to put the Mod Podge there. See, this is how it'll look when you're done, with the shiny edges, or shiny all the way around. Now, okay, once it's dry, you can string it on a piece of cord for a necklace or a bracelet. We gave you some cord and a a key ring, so you could put it on your backpack, you could use it for your keys, whatever. But what you want to do is take the cord, take one end of the cord and make a really big knot. Right here, I did 3 knots on top of each other because the holes in the beads are pretty large. Then what I'll do is I will string on however many beads I want to, like this, and then I can just make sure you leave enough room on the end. What you do is you do it, put it in half like this, and loop it through the keychain, and then take the ends, just pull them through, and then you've got a keychain. Probably a better plan would be to just take the cord without the bead on it. I just put the bead on because I had knotted it already. But if you put the cord on and you don't knot it yet, fold it in half, put the loop through the key ring, and then take the ends, pop them through like this. Then you can string on the bead however you want. I'm going to put a couple of beads that I already have made on here. Here we go. Let's say I want to put 4 on each end, and I'm just throwing them on here. But then you need to knot your end. And what I would do is you've got to make sure you've got a knot that's big enough to hold the beads on. So I'm making one knot like this. This is going to be kind of tough, but you want to make a big enough knot to hold on and there you've got your keychain with your beads on it. So as I said, this is just one option. It'd be nice, you could make a nice little bracelet, you could make a necklace. Just make sure that if you make a necklace and you knot it, that you make it large enough to go over your head. So anyway, enjoy and have fun with these. They're a blast. Sticky and messy, and you can just wipe them up with water. Enjoy.